but after 5 shots you'll go. And think it is the best thing in the world and nothing else comes even close to it.
Okay, episode 2. Not going to waste much time on the intro since I already did it in the previous video. If you don't know what this is about, I'm going to be talking about each of the Murder Drones episodes. Hopefully I'll be able to do this before the final episode is released. As I said, I won't ask you to leave a like and subscribe. I just ask you to please, if you like it, share it so more people know about the series. For my part, I will give a brief summary, later I will give my opinion of the episode, and at the end of everything I will give an opinion of the entire series, surely in another video. Without further ado, let's start with the second episode called Heartbeat. Episode 2 starts off by showing us what appears to be a flashback where the humans are taken from an unedited analog horror series, as they are just black shadows with white eyes, which is because modeling humans is more complicated than robot designs, which is also weird as Glitch has already made humans before and they look pretty good. Although I really like the idea, it adds mysticism and supports the idea that humans don't matter here. Most likely, as the drones are technically walking cameras, to avoid complaints, the drones automatically apply the censorship on the humans, so that in that way they don't get in trouble for privacy violations. Apparently, we're seeing Anne's memories in a rather spooky mansion, serving as a butler. Here we learn that J and B were also there as servants, and after a rather cute reference to Wall-E,
I wasn't looking.
we see a girl, apparently named Tessa, who brought another robot with a rather spooky vibe. And after assumed to end, the flashback ends. Now we return to the present, where the series once again laughs a bit at Uzi and his edginess, as we see that the plan to kill all humans is not as simple as it seems, since they have not been able to fix the ship, and the little symbol that appears in her eye is becoming a problem, since she cannot see herself in the mirror. So from now on, we will call it the devil symbol. Why? Because I said so. B points out the obvious and says that she never saw that symbol before. Then Anne arrives, who turns out to be the pilot of the ship, which he uses to try and flirt with B, but let's just say it doesn't go very well.
Spaceship pilot. Origin story.
Later, Anne comments on the obvious, and it's about the dubious morality of a genocide of an entire species, to which Uzi responds that the humans sent them on a suicide mission, and that if they sent them with the intention of them eventually starve to death, they already passed the point of negotiations. And after all, they did not try to negotiate with his mother, to which B makes a pretty good counterpoint actually, and that is that they only have one part of the story, Uzi's one, in which the workers are poor victims, but if the humans send them to solve a problem, maybe the humans have a point. But then Ian intervenes to stop the fight between the girls, and spoiler of the following episodes, the members of his future personal harem, emphasizing that something is not right, and that if the communication system of the ship was destroyed, something I forgot to mention, then the humans were not sending orders to Jay, but it was someone else. And speaking of that people, we now move on to the shelter, where we see a drone trying to fix the roof, giving away to a joke that I will not deny made me laugh like a seal the first time I saw it.
You got this, ladder about 5,000?
And from here, two patterns begin to repeat themselves. The second is that the series is going to reference different horror movies. The first is to always end up with a cliffhanger, and while Frank tries to fix the roof, Jay's body crawls and we see a devil's homunculus emerge from it, making a reference to Alien, and they kill Frank. Then we go to a scene with Uzi's father, where he shows that he's not only a cowboy, but that he literally has no idea about his daughter. It also reinforced what we saw before, and that is that although Uzi's not treated well by her classmate, she's not tried to change that situation either. And we see how she always acts in a close and defensive way with everyone, which makes it clear that this girl, even though her edgy attitude is used as a comic resource, Uzi is clearly not well and should be seen by a therapist.
Uzi, please sit normal.
Bite me!
Uzi, give Brayden back his sentience.
Bite me! Her. I started it, and also I'm dumb.
Uzi, you have to partner up.
Several people wanted to, for the record.
No, he didn't. You freak us out.
But mostly bite me!
To which Khan has an attack of guilt, being hit in the face by what bad father he was. After this, we go to a scene where there's a joke that made me cringe,
You good, Uzi? I'm good. Better than good. I am God!
followed by another that made me laugh
Hi, Dad. Thank you.
a lot. That goes to find Uzi to give him back his gun and ask for help, since apparently people are disappearing and some kind of monster is there. Then we see a scene where we also see how the drones have no survival instincts, which will be a problem now and later.
Hello, Tim. Care to join me? Hi.
But we also see the advantage of them being drones and not humans, since they're allowed to show excessive levels of violence without fear of YouTube deleting the channel. After returning, and the drones forgiving N for having committed a genocide of people who had a family, with a drawing so tender that even I would have forgiven him. Seriously, these are very PAPYRUS vibes. We go to a scene where we see another pretty cringe joke, and then showing himself to be emotional support personified.
About his daughter being more important than building a door in this hallway. Ugh, kinda cringe.
Ew, yeah, ugh. Oh, give me a minute.
You wanna know what was really cringe? That joke.
You good?
I'm good. Stop asking.
We see again how Uzi's dad is on the verge of a mental breakdown, and in the background we see two girls. The blonde one is called Lizzie. For now, the only thing that you have to know is that either you tolerate her or you hate her. There's no middle ground. The other one is called Doll, and apparently she's Russian.
Мертвые. Я смотрела, как они умирали.
Later, we will return to them. We only see that behind the door, the monster tries to get Lacey to open the door, and the stupid girl does not hesitate for a second, so we can imagine how that ended. Now we return to our protagonist, where we see that at the place of the first murder, we see that on the wall there is written something called Absolute Sober, which has the same devil symbol as Uzi's eyes. It seems that the regeneration of the murder drones has a limit, and when they receive too much damage, they're not able to regenerate on their own. So that is when the Absolute Sober is activated, who will seek to collect materials with the intention of repairing his host. And then this happens. Look, the series is not the epitome of comedy and horror, but that thing is creepy. It proceeds to kidnap Thad, and when our protagonist proceeds to try and save him, the thing tries to trick him with one of the worst holograms it has ever made.
Dentist office? I'm Thad at the dentist office. Come over here for your teeth.
Which I don't understand, since this thing is capable of making almost indistinguishable holograms, but now that it has to trick the protagonist, again there are 144p holograms. So they managed to save Thad.
Oh, thanks. Super invited to my shindig next weekend. Cool kids only.
If I were you, I wouldn't run in that direction. Instead, I will run and hide behind the murderous machine that is your friend with chainsaw hands and all kinds of weapons. Here's this thing, which they call EGODEATH. It seems to be some kind of program that tries to repair Jay. While she tells us this, we see how N noticed tentacles behind him, but like a bad creepypasta, he doesn't give it importance, so it ends up capturing him. But then we see how apparently this program seems to know Uzi's mother, and apparently capture his father, whom she proceeds to disembowel, which leaves Uzi in shock, which the monster takes advantage of to attack, but just at the right moment, N appears to save her. He asks her to shoot, but Uzi's still in shock, so she gives the gun to N. But
Pranked, idiot. You big stupid.
it turns out that it was another hologram, and the monster takes advantage to destroy the weapon. Just before Uzi gets killed, Aim breaks free, and seeing that when breaking the weapon this one is about to explode, he takes Uzi, and they leave before being caught in the explosion, which by pure luck manages to kill the monster. After this, we see that in reality, the monster did not kill his father, but that it was a hologram, and N kills the homunculus before it escapes.
Ow. Ow. Ow, 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 ow.
And tries to take Uzi with him, but Uzi is still in shock from what she just saw and is now scared of him. He feels bad and proceeds to flee the scene. After that, Uzi's father appears, to whom Uzi does not say anything and simply goes to hug him.
What are you doing?
Happy that he's still alive despite everything. Then we go back to the classroom where we see what really happened. Yeah, it turns out that the Russian girl has the same symbol of the devil, who apparently gives her powers, which she used to scare away the monster, and we see how she apparently wants to kill B, ending the episode with N and B in the ship, showing us that the latter was free all this time, and Uzi, who apparently turns out to be a conspiracy theorist.
The car. Know how to get there.
Well, it's time to give my opinion of the chapter, so let's start with the good. Let's see, this episode is good. I like it. It takes everything that worked in the first chapter and improves it. Let's start with the animation. Something I didn't mention that I didn't like in the previous episode is that for some reason, I don't know if it was the lighting or the brightness, but it makes some parts of the episode look like the atmosphere is full of dust. Well, here that disappears. It has darker lighting, and in general, it is as if it looks much more HD, so to speak. The textures of the drones that sometimes could be seen as plastic now clearly show that they are metal, and the hair has a dual color that makes them look even better. Here the animation does not feel rough at any time. It feels fluid and very well worked. The design of Eldritch J is great. We never really see his whole body, but that is a good thing. In horror movies, the golden rule is that you show the monster as little as possible, and here we only see it when it attacks his prey in a fleeting moment, making the viewer understand that it's huge, and in the final battle. But without doubt, the best thing is the characters, or rather the character development. And doesn't really change, but it's not bad. But the star of the show is Uzi. At first, she keeps her edgy teenage attitude, believing that she's above everything and that nothing can stop her. But then, life puts her in a truly dangerous and terrifying situation. And you know what happens? Exactly. Uzi breaks down completely, showing a very big internal weakness.
See, you good?
No.
Here, Uzi is confronted with a situation that totally overwhelms her, receiving a reality check that shows her how small and fragile she is. She wants to fight all the time with everyone, but she wouldn't win a fight. In fact, the series does an excellent job showing this. At the beginning of the episode, with Uzi saying that she's a god, but in the end, life subjects her to a traumatic experience, which makes it clear to her that she's just a child, who when faced with the fear, will run scared into dad's arms. I like that a lot. He's cool, genuinely a good secondary character. The episode also does a good job with the atmosphere, making it really uncomfortable and giving the feeling that the characters are in a constant danger all the time. The humor is still 50-50, but it's very well balanced and does not ruin the atmosphere. Finally, the first episode, as I said, I think it failed to hook the viewer. Here at least it leaves a cliffhanger that feels quite natural. It leaves leaves you with the mystery of what that symbol is, what connections it has with the murder drones, what is the absolute solver, and what does it all have to do with this. Okay, that's about it. Now, what about the bad? I really don't have much to say, but there are some things. I consider that this is the last chapter that really has things of teenage drama. From here, the series becomes something more like Gravity Falls, where the focus is on solving the mysteries of this world. But even so, there are still things here that one could say teenage drama.
Yeah, give me a minute.
And finally, the humor is still a 50-50, and although the series knows how to break stereotypes, when it tries to make jokes making fun of those stereotypes, sometimes it feels like a child is trying to recreate what Deadpool would say in this situation, but it only embarrasses himself.
I'm funny.
And, well, that will be all. I have no more complaints. It seems to me a total improvement compared to the previous one. As I said, I'm recording all this in a row with all episodes, so now I'm going for the third chapter, which is going to be an interesting journey. If you like this video, you will do me a huge favor by sharing it so that more people know about this series, and we will see each other in chapter 3. Bye bye!